Good morning and welcome to Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chris Yao. It's been a long time since I've gotten to see you guys, but I'm so happy to be here this week filling in for Scott Stewart. Our thoughts are with him as he is recovering from a little sickness, as many of us are across the mid-state. Big news this week in Main Street media we're going to get to here in just a moment. We, of course, are going to bring you the wrap from Lawrence County Advocate, the Pulaski Citizen, and of course, Andrew Pearson will have the Main Street Maury wrap for you here momentarily. Of course, don't forget Maurice Patton and Wade Neely will have sports for you from Maury County and Giles County. All of that coming up here in just a few moments. But we've got a lot of great news to get to, so let's go ahead and get into it on the wrap. Front and center on the Lawrence County Advocate, you're going to find a little something extra this week. If you take a look at that masthead, you'll see, of course, the Lawrence County Advocate, but you'll also see a very familiar name, the Democrat Union. It was announced last week that Main Street Media has acquired the Democrat Union and the Hickman County Times from the Crawford family, and it is an exciting time for Lawrence County as we have now combined forces with the most comprehensive coverage of Lawrence County news and sports that you can find anywhere. So make sure to pick up your copy on Rex or continue to subscribe, and we will make sure to get that news to you as quickly as we can. It is so exciting, and of course, we want to thank the Crawford family for allowing us to continue their tradition. Also on the front page, a horse and buggy were swept into a stream during the flooding that took place over the weekend. Both the victim and his horse did make it safely to shore. 5 people were arrested and now face drug charges after numerous calls about drug activity led to a probation check in Summertown. Lawrence County Sheriff's Office did make 5 arrests in that check. Gum Springs Baptist Church was fortunate their alarm system was functioning last week, as it alerted firefighters to smoke coming from the church. Emergency responders were able to get to the structure and prevent any damage. Lawrence County EMA will hold a meeting on February 28th to discuss hazard mitigation, and also inside the Advocate, you're going to find puzzles, comics, calendars, and more. For more on those stories I've told you about and much, much more, make sure to pick up the Advocate this week. In the sports pages, you'll find full stories on Loretto's boys finishing the season undefeated, as well as the Lady Mustangs' run to the district tournament's top seed. In addition to that, we've got stories from the Summertown-Wayne County games, as well as full stories from both of Lawrence County High School's games last week. Also, don't miss this week's Titan Insider page on the back page of the paper. Terry McCormick has an update on the NFL draft and, of course, the Titans' top pick. All of that is thanks to our friends at Fast Stop Markets. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more on Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee, right after this.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
Welcome back into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. Once again, I'm Chris Yao, filling in for Scott Stewart this week. Got a lot to tell you about in this week's Pulaski Citizen. This week's Pulaski Citizen of the Week is 17-year-old Neely Williamson. She holds that prestigious spot front and center of the paper. Top story is a Pulaski man has been charged with sexual exploitation of minors, but the work of the Giles County Sheriff's Office, TBI, Homeland Security, and Pulaski Police Department resulted in the collection of electronic devices and evidence. The suspect is currently being held without bond. Hey, the annual radio auction, again, massive success, raising $25,000 with 318 items flying off the shelves. Huge win for the annual radio auction. The city of Pulaski will now join various other communities across the country in honoring Casimir Pulaski, the Polish-born American Revolutionary War hero for whom the city is named. Casimir Pulaski Day will take place each October 11th going forward, and we'll see its first observance this year. Inside the paper, you'll find Ardmore's proposal for a library's addition, and the Giles Extension is hoping to help farmers and consumers find and buy locally produced eggs. That's huge. Of course, we've also got backwards glances, court docket, as well as property transfers, community briefs, and much more. All right, let's send it over now to Wade Neely, who's got your sports covered this week in the Pulaski Citizen.
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen. Time now for another look at what's in print and what's online for the February 19th edition of the Pulaski Citizen sports page. Basketball closing the regular season is our main focus, and Giles County, the boys basketball team, had a huge upset as they took down top-seeded Tullahoma. GCHS is streaking into the postseason after winning 71-52 versus Central Magnet on Tuesday. They followed up with a come-from-behind 63-62 victory versus Tullahoma. Had a little bit of everything. Giles County got down early, made a late rally. There was some drama, but Deshaun Howard makes free throws at the end of the ball game and sends Giles County again to a 63-62 win. Make sure you read all about that. Better yet, make sure you go back to our Pulaski Citizen Live archives, download the Mixler app, and search PCL GCHS. You can listen to that broadcast as GCHS is now rolling into the postseason. They are the 3 seed and are set to host, well, a familiar opponent. They will host Central Magnet. That game was played yesterday, and we'll have more updates on their postseason run as future editions come out. The Lady Raiders, talking about the Richland Lady Raiders, they finished unbeaten in District 10A, second straight season that Richland has claimed the district championship, and they did it in convincing fashion, picking up a nice win on Tuesday night versus Culleoka, taking care of business on the road, getting the win, and again, finishing unbeaten in league play at 8-0. It was not all rosy for the Raiders, though. They had a very stiff test coming in last Thursday as Loretto, one of the Class AA powerhouses, came in, and Richland made a valiant comeback. It was a nip-and-tuck affair in the first half. Third quarter got away from the Lady Raiders. They fell behind, but cut it to within single digits in the fourth before ultimately, again, falling 55-47. Their district tournament kicks off later this week, and Richland will host the winner of either Hampshire or Culleoka. We'll have complete coverage in next week's edition, and we'll broadcast those games on PCL. The Richland boys, they finished runner-up in District 10A, and all roads kind of lead to a crash course, perhaps, with Santa Fe in yet another district tournament championship game. But last week, Richland took care of business, picking up a nice win on the road versus Culleoka, and they met a similar fate as the ladies, falling to a very high-powered Loretto Mustang squad. 63-38 was your final in that one. Richland never really kind of got itself in contention in that one, but no shame in that, as the Mustangs are AA favorites to win the state championship this year. Speaking of Richland, on our second page this week, we have a nice story on the future of Richland cheer. Well, really, it's a story on the current Richland cheer, as both squads, the Richland Middle School and high school squads, finished in the top 20 in the nation during their recent visit to Walt Disney World, where the UCA National Championships were held in early February. Richland finishing again top 20 in both of those categories, an 11th place finish in a traditional format for the middle school Raiders, 12th place finish in game day. High school finished 10th and 17th, respectively. And it's just the second year that Richland Middle School has fielded a cheer team. We had a great time catching up with all their student athletes and their head coach, Beth Hall. Other stories in the Citizen this week. Dwayne Simmons might not be the most familiar name to some, but he is a very historic figure, as he challenged and succeeded, obviously, becoming the first African-American student athlete at Martin Methodist back in 1963. Well, he was on campus and he was in the community last week promoting his new book, Somebody's Got to Do It. And Chandler Harmon, one of our staff writers at the Pulaski Citizen, was on hand for that meet and greet, for that book reading. And make sure you check that out. A wonderful story in print this week. Coming to a close, we feature a story on the NFL draft, which comes up soon. Our good buddy Terry McCormick of Titan Insider has you covered on all the ins and outs of April's draft, or May's draft. And then also we close with the Lady Bobcats, as Giles County dropped two heartbreakers last week. Kind of been a theme of their season, but GCHS really lost a tough one, 41-37 in overtime versus Central Magnet. And they also fell 48-40 versus Tullahoma, one of the powerhouses in District 8 AAA. So there you have it, folks. It's a jam-packed sports section this week. We also, as always, have words from our good friend Larry Woody. We got a whole bunch more. And the good news is, if you miss it in print, you can always find it online at PulaskiCitizen.com. I'm Wade Neely saying so long for now. We'll see you next time here from Giles County.
He shoots, and he scores!
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Hello, I'm Andrew Pearson, the County News Reporter, and this is the weekly wrap for Main Street Maury. We've got a great slate of stories for you in the February 12th issue of our paper. Here's the wrap on them. Our top story is the opening of the Maury County branch of A Kid's Place. This advocacy organization fights child abuse by putting kids and their guardians in touch with the law and with the resources to meet their daily and psychological needs. They look forward to continuing their good work at their new office off of Hatcher Lane, which opened with the ribbon-cutting ceremony on Thursday. People freely gave their opinions on Columbia's pending short-term rental law at the City Council meeting last week. The owners of Airbnbs, Verbos, and other vacation rentals claimed the right to freely use their property, but the people who would have to live near such rentals feared for the character of their neighborhoods. The City Council moved the bill to the next stage of approval where they can continue to change it. They also swore in Brian McKelvey as the Ward 5 City Councilman. Columbia's Planning Commission approved the plans for a Whataburger location at the old Sloan Ford dealership on James Campbell. They also heard public comment on an apartment complex and townhomes at a planned development at Taylor Landing, and they deferred that issue while approving several other projects. Spring Hill's Planning Commission approved the 75 townhomes and duplexes in the next phase of the June Lake development, which will total almost 1,000 dwelling units at the north end of the city. They also approved several other major and minor projects. And finally, Columbia Fire Station number 1 has installed a new baby box, courtesy of Safe Haven Baby Boxes. Under the Tennessee Safe Haven law, parents in crisis can place their newborn baby in a designated box for up to 2 weeks after they're born and remain completely confidential and free from prosecution while doing so. Beyond the first page, a commissioner from the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation took a tour of Spring Hill's wastewater treatment plant. Hohenwald State Representative Kip Capley introduced a bill that would mandate that driving tests be administered only in English. The Columbia Welcome Center is exhibiting paintings this month by local artist Brad Anderson. Our parent company, Main Street Media, just bought three papers in Middle Tennessee. Governor Bill Lee appointed 19 people to the Duck River Watershed Planning Partnership, including our state Senator Joey Hensley and our county mayor Sheila Butt. And Charlie Plunkett is back, advising people to save or reinvest their tax refund. That's all the news for this week in the print edition of Main Street Maury. We've got obituaries and coupons in our A pages, notices, classifieds, comics, and puzzles in our C pages, and sports in the B section, which Maurice Patton will wrap up for us right now.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. This week's print edition of Main Street Maury, it's the February 19th edition. We've got coverage of Santa Fe legend Alden Slaughter, the senior Wildcat, in addition to climbing up the charts of Tennessee's all-time high school boys basketball scoring leaders, has been named a Mr. Basketball finalist for Class 1A. We've got coverage of that announcement. The two folks that are finalists along with him and finalists from all of our classifications for both Mr. and Miss Basketball, those awards will be presented on March 18th over at MTSU's Tucker Theater. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. But again, Alden Slaughter, a Mr. Basketball finalist in Class 1A. We've got coverage of that in this week's Main Street Maury. It's also postseason in both high school wrestling and in high school basketball, and we've got action. Columbia Central's Nate Hoth becomes the first postseason tournament winner in Columbia Central wrestling history. The senior won the 175-pound weight class at the Section 3 AA tournament over at Green Hill this past weekend. We've got coverage of that. He is the lone lion advancing to this week's state tournament coming up beginning Friday at Franklin's Williamson County Ag Expo. Summit won the team honors at that tournament. They will have 9 guys advancing. Spring Hill advances a couple. Independence has 4. Again, we've got coverage of all of that section action in this week's Main Street Maury print edition. We've also got 6 local girls that will be competing at the state level this coming week. We've got coverage of that. Again, postseason basketball action as well. Columbia Academy's boys and girls teams suffered tough losses over the weekend in the District 2A, in the Division 2A District 3 tournament up at Battleground Academy. Coverage of that. Also, Independence winding up its regular season, took a tough loss to Brentwood. We've got coverage of that ball game and getting you ready for, again, the postseason. We've got district tournaments in Division 1. We've got region tournaments in Division 2. We have our scoring and three-point leaders, and we've got some box scores from last week as well. So plenty to catch up with on the high school level in this week's Main Street Maury print edition. Coming up this week, flag football is going to start a little earlier than typically for our two flag football entrants, Independence and Summit. We'll be checking in with coaches Tay Martin and Cody McAllister, as they get ready to begin play next week. So be sure and check that out both on MainStreetMaury.com and in next week's print edition as well. Again, we will also have postseason wrestling and basketball coverage both online and in print. So look out for all of that and more. I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. We'll see y'all next week.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
We'll go Wednesday morning. Taylor Platt here with a look at your forecast, and it's snowing outside this morning, but that by the time we get to 8 a.m., most of this activity should start to wind down, especially as we get to 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Should have quite a few inches of snow on the ground for some places here in Middle Tennessee. By the time we get to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, we're still staying in the 20s. Clouds stick around, and there could be a chance at some flurries on the backside of this system. This really won't amount to any much or really anything. So whatever you have on the ground snow-wise Wednesday morning, that's pretty much what you're going to have through the remainder of the day. Breezy northwesterly winds coming in, ushering in that colder air, and it gets really, really cold. It gets down to the single digits for your Thursday morning, so be sure to take the necessary precautions. Any piping stuff, you need to drip some water, make sure that's taken care of. Bring any pets inside, and just do your normal precautions for this extreme cold that's coming in. The good news is it won't last long, but we're down into the teens and single digits for some places for your Thursday morning, only staying below freezing Thursday. Then we have a nice warm-up coming through the remainder of the week. We get back up into the 60s by the time we get into next Monday, and maybe even a little bit of a windy day for Tuesday. That's a live look at your latest forecast. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, folks. That's going to do it for this edition of Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. We hope that you will find some time. Come on down to Maury County, Giles County, Lawrence County. Have a great time. We've got a lot of great things to offer here in Southern Middle Tennessee. We'd love to see you guys. Make sure to come by and pick up a copy of each of our papers if you are in the community, and we hope to see you around town somewhere. Again, Chris Yah filling in for Scott Stewart this week. Hope to see you guys again soon here on Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.